Hey everybody, it's Missy bringing you another layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2016 April Hip Kits again. And one of my assignments for this week was to focus on photos. And so I decided to scrap these really cute color photos of my daughter from a few years ago, and I want to make them pop on this really intimidating background paper. It's one of the Pink Fresh papers, and when I first saw it I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? That big life is just so big and bold, and it's red, and red intimidates me a lot in scrapbooking. It's not a color that I go for a lot because it is so bold and bright, but I decided to challenge myself, so that's what I'm going to do. I took some white gesso and just smudged it down like I normally do because I am going to do some mixed media on the background. I added some tissue paper behind my pictures to start, and I love the colors in the pictures. I love that there's a lot of green grass, and then her swimsuit is rainbow, and so I've already got some of that red and yellow from the paper tied into the photos, and so I think that helps the pictures pop a little bit. So I'm going to use some shimmers here. The first one that I used is one from my stash. It's called Jenny B Blue, and it's a really pretty turquoise color, and it's a Vibes. And this one is actually from the color kit this month. This is a Colorings, and it's called Oh Say Can You See, and it's more of a teal green color. And I'm just going to mix and match these together. My thought process here was, since these pictures are of her in her swimsuit, and she had been in the pool, but she got out and was sitting in this puddle of water and was just having herself a ball, kicking and splashing and laughing and carrying on. And I thought, well, I still want to treat these like pool pictures. So I thought I'm going to make some pool color water on my paper. And so that's why I went with the blue. And it also contrasts nicely with the red and the yellow that's already on this paper. Now I just fussy cut out that design from the Project Life card. It's a watercolor brush stroke, and it says meet me in the sunshine. And then I'm going to cut this little banner piece out from one of the Shimelle stickers. It was an actual rocket ship sticker, and I don't see myself using anything with a rocket ship on it, and so I just cut the awesome part out. I'm also going to use that Better rub-on from the Amy Tan rub-ons, and I'm going to incorporate the word life into my title. I'm also going to use this Amy Tan sheet. It's very cute, very busy, but I love the colors in it. And I'm just going to use it as a subtle background, not background, but a layer behind my pictures. I wanted to use a layer that did not have green or blue in it, since I already have a lot of green in the pictures and a lot of blue in the background. And as you can see here, the pictures kind of cover up a lot of the mixed media that I've done. And so I'm going to come back in with more of the mixed media to add some more, because I hate to do all the mixed media work and then cover it completely up with my pictures where you can't see it. What's the point if you can't see it, right? So I like to do some of the mixed media and then bring the pictures back and put them where I want them and see if you can even see the paint in the background. And if I can't, I go back and do more, because I like the look of the paint coming out from behind the photos. And especially on this one because I want it to mimic pool water being splashed around. And so far I love how this is looking. I'm going to add a little bit more with the packaging technique here. And I love these two colors mixed together. I think I could use Jenny B Blue on almost everything. And I believe we're actually getting Jenny B Blue in the next color kit in May. So you will be able to see how gorgeous it is in person, and how pretty it is mixed with this Oh Say Can You See. So my thought here was I wanted to mimic that yellow corner up in the right hand side. So I took this Project Life card, it's the 4x6 piece, and I created another yellow triangle corner in the left here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of the yellow colorings. That's no yoking, and that is also in our color kit this month. So now I have two yellow pieces there in each corner. And now I'm going to play with some of the embellishments here. I'm going to use that word real, and it's one of those acetate words from the Pink Fresh collection. And my title is going to be Life is Better with You, and it's going to stretch above the photos and then underneath the photos, and I'm going to mix and match. Every word is going to look different, and better is going to be this rub-on here, and it's also red. So I do have a lot of red going on, but I like how the gesso sort of faded out the big life letters, so it's not as bold. I like that it's kind of lighter and faded looking. I'm going to add a little bit of thread here. If you know me, you know I love to add thread, and I've got 3 different colors. I've got a darker teal color, a light blue, and the yellow, and I'm just making little loops with it here and layering it underneath the pictures. I'm going to wind up altering that wood veneer ampersand here in just a few minutes, because I do want to use it as an accent right in the middle of the 2 pictures. I'm going to combine these Pink Fresh yellow puffy stickers with some of these really cool, clear, transparent American Craft stickers. And I wanted it to be tone on tone here, so I used the blue ones on top of the blue paint. And it's very subtle, but you can still see it. And then I wanted you to pop, so that's where the yellow comes in. And you know, one thing about this paper, when I first saw it, I was, like I said, I was intimidated by it because it's so big and bold and so different. And I think, though, once I decided what I wanted to do, I realized that it actually made scrapping a little easier, because it kind of dictates where you put your pictures, because you don't want to cover up the word life, and the most natural place for you to put your pictures is right underneath it. And so it kind of was a no-brainer of where to put my pictures. Okay, so off camera I did some stitching. I used some of the light blue to go through all of those red letters, and then I used the darker blue just to do some straight and zigzag stitching, and also stitched through width there. And I did it up in the yellow corners just to add some color up there and to add some interest, just to make it look a little bit different. I'm going to use both of these coloring, or both of the shimmers, on this ampersand and make it kind of blue, green, turquoise color. And I'm going to add a little bit of this blue gelato. And then I decided it's too dark. It kind of blends in too much. So I've seen this done a lot, and I've never tried it. Thought I would try it today. Why not? I'm going to do a half and half embossed. So I pull out a Project Life card and block it so I can only add what is that stuff called? Embossing ink to 1/2 of this ampersand, and then I'm going to use my gold embossing powder here. And it's not perfect because I think some of the ink was still wet from when I sprayed it. I didn't let it dry enough, but that's okay. I still like the sparkle that it's going to have at the end. It turns out okay. I love how that looks. I was impressed. But it's still too dark, I think. So I take some yellow acrylic paint and just add a little stripe of yellow, and it's going to make it pop just a little bit more. Now, I didn't want it to pop so much that it detracted from the photos, but I didn't want it so dark that it blended in and you didn't really even see it. So that's why I added the yellow, just to kind of give it a little extra bright factor there. And I like how that looks. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to add some yellow thread, though, just to brighten it up a little more. Oh, but first I'm going to add it up at the top. This is kind of where my brain went wonky during this layout. I was scattered. I went to the top, I went to the bottom, I was all over the place. I just looked at it and thought, what needs to be done now? Let me work on this part. And then I got distracted and started working on another part. Sometimes that's just how I go, and there's no rhyme or reason. I did add some pop dots behind that little Project Life piece that I cut out, and then I added the thread under it, and then I added real underneath it. There I go, adding the thread under the ampersand. I knew I did that. And so I guess I kind of have two titles going on. Life is Better with You, and then Real Life could also be the title. I'm going to pull in those cute balloons. Those are from the Chamel Ephemera pack, and they are just the perfect colors. The green, the blue, the red. I'm going to add that awesome banner on top of that ampersand here in just a minute. Now here's my another train of thought. I've got the real, it's hard to tell, but it's green, and then I've got the green balloon to the right. I need some green down in the bottom right, so I just take some of the aqua hues from last month's color kit, that really pretty green color, and color up one of these Simple Stories wood veneer hearts, and I'm going to use it down at the bottom there. So I've got that lime green color going all throughout the page. I'm going to come in with a couple of strips of the washi tape from the Pink Fresh line. And then do a little bit of work down here in this bottom corner. Add another one of those Pink Fresh acetate words. And then I'm going to add in this Amy Tan XO rub-on. I love these rub-ons. I think they're so pretty. The bright colors. This one says Goodness. And I love that it's a nice pop of yellow up in that area. These are those really cool Pink Fresh puffy stickers. And the one I'm going to use is green, and it says Live Life in all caps. And I thought that was very appropriate since life is in all caps. And if you know my child, she's definitely a live life in all caps type of gal. She is going all the time. She's the life of the party, and she is a little fireball. Now, I fussy cut out Hello Happiness from that Ellie Studio paper, and I don't film it because you can't even really see it, but I did add a little bit of pink paint to those letters, and so in person you can see it a lot better, but since my lights are so bright, it's faded away. So there's a little bit of pink up at the top. And I wind up sticking that right there on top of the ampersand, and I like that pop of pink that it gives. And the last thing I'm going to work on here is adding a little bit more splatters, and then creating a brad. I guess that's what you could say. Those are, well, one of those things there are the clips, the Chamel paper clips. They're metal, but I didn't want to use it as a clip, and so I just took my Tim Holtz scissors and cut off the clip part, and now I have a little brad. It looks like a brad, and I love how that turned out, and it cut pretty easily. So if you have those strong scissors and you don't want to use the clip part, just cut the clip off and glue it down. The yellow piece there says Smile, and that's one of the rubber charms from Pink Fresh, and I was going to add some thread under it, but it just didn't look right, so I just glued it down as is. And then I'm going to put this clip / brad over here on the right. It looks like a brad, but you know it's not. Anyway, there's the final product. I love how this turned out. I love how I took some intimidating paper and some bright color photos and made it pop. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I feel like my mojo is finally back. Let me know if you have any questions or about any of the products or any of the hip kits or anything like that. Make sure you check out hipkitclub.net, and we have a crop coming up soon for NSD, National Scrapbooking Day. So hope to see you then. Thanks for joining me.